Hey y'all, this is Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey Kat. And this is the Fake Ass Book Club. Wait, can we both say it or no?
So welcome back, you guys. It's your girl, Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey, Kat.
Hey, Moni.
Staying warm there, friend?
I
got
am.
The hat on.
Oh, I don't even need this because I'm just so warmed by enthusiasm for today's topic.
That is, I hate that.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. I mean, okay, I'm gonna try to be nice. Let me start over. You guys, we're super excited to be here today. Our topic for today is the result of me losing a bet, a haphazard bet. And I just made the wrong bet. So I caught the L, and so here we are. And we're gonna be talking about a comic book today, friend.
I'm sorry. It's been such a musical day. And just when you said that, it made me think of the Earth, Wind, and Fire song, where daylight deals a bad hand to a woman who has made too many bets. The mirror stares you in the face. Boogie Wonderland.
There you have it, guys. So that's where we are this week, okay? That's squarely
We're Boogie Wonderland.
where we're located. So you guys, the book that she picked and I don't even know, is it, okay, so I think it's Ashes. Wait, From the Ashes, A New Beginning, Storm Book 1? No?
Sure.
From the Ashes, number 1. I don't know how I'm supposed to call this.
Well, okay, here's the thing. It's a reboot because Storm's had a lot of iterations, right? So I've just been calling it the 2024 Storm.
Oh,
because
that was much easier.
That's just, to me, the easiest way to find it.
Okay.
And then, it pretty much led me to it.
So why'd you pick this, friend? I mean, you could have had anything, and this is what you picked. Just describe to us with the thought, what happened?
Well, I knew this would be short.
Okay.
And I've been wanting to read this relaunch. Like, I listened to a couple of nerd podcasts, and they've been talking about it. And I haven't really been able to follow along, or I've been skipping when they talk about it because I didn't want it spoiled. So I was like, well, let me just go ahead and get into it.
Okay. Well, how many? So, we only read book 1, but how many are there? Do you know?
I don't.
Okay. Well,
I'm going to say like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I feel like because there were, like you were saying, you were looking up stuff about it. I was trying to figure out how to say the author's name, and he was being interviewed, and I feel like he was working on at least 4 or 5 at this point. So anyway, I just wanted to mention this is one in a series of these Storm books or whatever, and I'm trying to figure out I don't know, we can get into her backstory and stuff. Before we do that, though, I want to give you guys a little bit of a synopsis about this particular
piece of literature.
Yes. So, From the Ashes, Book 1, the highly anticipated first issue of Marvel's latest solo series centered around Ororo Munroe, aka Storm. As a seasoned hero and leader, Storm finds herself at a crossroads, balancing her responsibilities as a protector of both mutants and humans. When a devastating explosion rocks Oklahoma City, Storm is forced to confront an unexpected cause that could shatter her reputation and the fragile trust between mutants and humanity. As Storm announces her candidacy for Congress, the revelation threatens her political aspirations and public image, making her journey even more complex. Meanwhile, a looming cosmic force suggests that her greatest battles may extend far beyond the Earth.
Dun, dun, dun.
So yeah, in your face. That's a lot in a short book, actually.
It was.
So,
I mean, to me, that's one of the things I appreciate about comic book storytelling.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what we're doing today, you guys. And so before we really get into the story, I think we should dedicate this episode, friend. What do you think?
Agreed.
Okay. All right, guys, so hands over your hearts. As always, you guys, we want to dedicate this episode and every episode to our loyal and fabulous patrons. You guys are the best. We appreciate you all. And, I was thinking about the title of this book, From the Ashes and rebuilding and all that kind of stuff. It made me think again about the people in the Los Angeles area with the wildfires. I mean, you got 29 people passed away. You had thousands of homes. I mean, the impact was huge. And I mean, literally up in ashes, and just how, sometimes you find yourself rebuilding. Mm-hmm. And so I just wanted to send our, love and support to those people impacted by that terrible, terrible, terrible disaster and force of nature. So, yeah. What about you, friends?
Yes, and my dedication this week is going out to art of just all of it, like the literature, the visual, just all of the art. One of my favorite comedians, Josh Johnson, he does like he posts every Tuesday, like parts of his stand-up act. And he just did like sort of a longer one this week where he talked about the Kendrick Lamar halftime show and some other things. And one of the things that he said that really stood out to me, I always joke that Josh Johnson's my favorite pastor. But one of the things he said that was really a word to me is that art can save your life, but entertainment never will. And I was like, wow, that was really deep. So yeah, make some art. Like, it doesn't have to be good, just make some.
Like it.
Thanks. Dedication over.
All right, excellent. You know, we're the art girls around here.
Yeah.
We really definitely like that. So I am going to, let's see, what I found, because I remember I was asking you, I'm like, is it 128 pages? What I looked up, it said 128 pages. I don't know how many were actually on the digital copy. First of all, this is how you know your friend really wants you to look at this, because of course I didn't have any sort of digital or physical copy. And Kat put them on slides for me, you guys, in the Google Suite, which was nice. So there might have been 34 slides.
Something like that, yeah.
So I don't know if that actually equates to the amount of pages, but it was a very quick, easy read. And it was, so I'm going to make you say it. Why don't you talk about the author of this?
Moni, would love to.
Yeah, I could tell.
So, our author for this comic is Muriwa Ayodele, recipient of the Lagos Comic Con 2023 First Award for Writer of the Decade. Mr. Ayodele is the writer of the Nomomo nominated comic book series New Men, the critically acclaimed web comic series My Grandfather Was a God, the popular Akogun Brutalizer of Gods graphic novel, and several Marvel comics like Moon Knight, Black, White, and Blood, Avengers Unlimited Infinity comic, I Am Iron Man, and Storm. He is also the co-founder of the Collectible Comics in G, a Nigerian comic book studio founded with artist Dotun Akande that was nominated in the Comic Studio of the Year category at the 2018 Fist Awards. Muriwa has worked as a professional comic book writer for almost a decade with over 10 comic book titles under his belt.
Wow.
Yeah, he's
That's
given
pretty
some
good.
serious king nerd energy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I'm interested to get into this first episode here. But before we kind of do, I wanted to ask you though, like I know you, because this has come up on the show before, right? Like you obviously love comic books, specifically
Is it that
Storm.
obvious?
Yeah, you've talked about it a lot and you're wearing the shirt.
I thought I was so subtle.
Yeah, subtle.
How did you tell?
But yeah, I wanted to know, like, what do you remember the first time you read a Storm comic book? And like, why was she the one that sort of stuck out to you? Like, why is she the one? Because there's lots of comics out
I'm
there.
going to take you back a little further.
Okay, let's do it.
Than comic books.
Okay.
This is going back to Saturday morning cartoons.
Okay,
Dun, dun, dun,
picture this.
dun, 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 dun. So I'm watching this, and Storm's the only black lady in it. In this,
What is it?
cartoon. It's the X-Men animated cartoon.
I knew. I just guessed.
Yeah, for the listeners. And I was like immediately like, I'm so into this. I love this so hard. And my dad saw me watching it and he was just like, he's like, this is based on comic books. And I was like, tell me more. So then once I found that comic books were something I could buy so that I could tap into these stories whenever I wanted to, I was hooked. So yeah, that was that's
that.
why. And I mean Storm, because there was nowhere else where I was seeing a character this black, this female, and this powerful. Like she was a leader of the X-Men. And yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, that is so true. I'm trying to think of any black, especially animated characters that I remember. No, like I loved She-Ra. Dating myself.
Did
with
she have
that
a black
one.
friend? She had a black friend.
I think everybody kind of had like a black friend. There was always a Shayna showing up somewhere, Jim's sidekick or whoever. But just like main character energy, black ladies. No, I can't think of one. And
she got to beat up dudes.
Yeah, that is always nice to see. But yeah, so I just was really curious though, because I mean, for me, I do remember the X-Men cartoon. I remember liking it, but
it was pretty.
That was enough.
Yeah, it's like saturated colors.
It's like good.
To me, the stories really brought me into because a lot of it. Now, let me just say, I've kind of stayed away from the Storm comics for the past couple years because the last run of Storm comics that I read when she was like became the Queen of Wakanda, didn't like them.
Really?
I think we've talked about this on the show before too, because it's in the writer of those was not Mr. Ayodele. It was a different gentleman by the name.
I don't remember his name. I'm sorry. That little sounded like perhaps I knew. No, that was for something else.
Eric Jerome Dickey.
No, that's right. Oh no.
Oh no.
Wait. What?
That's right.
It's like I heard it all over again. Like that song during the break or before Patreon.
You know what? I haven't made my playlist for Spotify yet, but that song's definitely going on there. Guys, look into it so you know what we're talking about. Or go to Patreon to know what we're talking about, because man, what a great song.
Oh my God.
But yes, Mr. Rest in peace to but yes, he had written the
Milk in My Coffee.
Milk in My Coffee, which ties into our last bet we read
That was
where
a good
I
time.
Lost and had to read some of his work. I'm not a fan of his work, I'll put it that way. And that's why when I made those connections before, I was like, oh, this makes perfect sense as to why I hated this run of the comic, because she was such a simp. And what I liked about Storm was she was so strong. And so he doesn't really know how to, I mean, in my opinion, he didn't really know how to write female characters.
Got you.
And I'm learning this a lot about a lot of male writers that don't seem to understand that women have inner lives that don't revolve around men.
Them, yeah. Maybe that's hard to imagine though.
I kind of feel like I can imagine men. I'm very used to them not like, I know I'm not like the nucleus around which their world revolves.
But think about the demographics of humans that exist that find themselves in that specific situation.
No.
You know what I mean? It's the same. I would say it's the same.
I'm like, I refuse to think about those people.
You have to, because they're out here. And they're the ones, well, anyway.
Yeah, making legislation.
Yeah. And so it's like, of course you can't imagine. But no, okay, that's fair. That's a fair point, because you already didn't like his writing. So it would make sense that like his iteration. What's wild to me is that he was even in comic books. Like that seems like a stretch when you're talking about.
So here's what I can't prove this. If I just had to guess, because this was a long, long time ago too, because I feel like this was maybe before I even had kids, or definitely before I had my daughter. So I think there was probably an attempt to bring in more black writers or writers of color, whatever, because even the guys, you know, Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, who, you know, invented, you know, Storm, they're white dudes. You know what I mean? Like I said, they didn't even get her hair right. I was just happy to see a black lady.
Right.
So I wasn't going to pick it apart, but there's this idea of like, yeah, maybe we should have black people telling black stories. But since Mr. Jerome Dickey doesn't really,
in your opinion,
in my opinion, well, and then also too, because Storm isn't a black American.
Right.
She's African.
Yeah.
So that's different.
Yeah.
Like, so I like the fact that they brought in an African writer this time instead of just being like, well, that guy's black, he can write for Storm. Or as opposed, I don't know, maybe you can get a black woman. Do black women write?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been told.
I think I've seen a couple somewhere.
Yeah.
But I think Mr. Ayodele, I like the job he did.
He did a great job.
Yeah.
Okay, well, where do you want to start with all this, friend? Do you want to do a little, I mean, I kind of gave you a general idea about it.
I was kind of curious to see, because just real quick, we're kind of coming into the mutant universe. This is always what's going on with the X-Men, is like they're trying to get acceptance for mutants' rights. That's why one of the things that's quoted the most from the comics is Magneto was right, because Magneto and Professor Xavier kind of had opposing views. Magneto was kind of the Malcolm X, Professor Xavier was like MLK, where he's like, we can all come together. And Magneto was like, No.
I don't think we can.
I don't think we can. These humans are not going to, because you have to keep in mind too, Magneto was Jewish. He's a Holocaust survivor. He's just kind of like, I don't see it for these humans. They're just too violent.
Don't see us.
Yeah, they don't see it for us.
Yeah.
And so there's always this thing where Magneto was right. Peace was never an option. And so I'm always torn between those two because I really want peace to be an option. Anyway, we're coming into it. Storm, she's been a pupil of Professor Xavier, so she's going the peace route. So she's trying to get some goodwill going. Like right now, it's looking good for mutants. There's this big explosion at an Oklahoma power plant. Turns out they think it's the engineer's fault. It turns out it's a mutant who's coming of age, and they accidentally set off this terrible reaction that ends up killing a bunch of people. Because that's kind of a theme, too, in a lot of the X-Men comics. When people get their powers, they accidentally end up hurting people or their parents because they don't understand what's happening to them, and their powers lash out, and it's always, kind of sad. But in this instance, she has a decision to make on whether she's going to tell the truth about what she observed, or is she just going to scapegoat the engineers and keep the goodwill going in the direction of the mutants? So what do you think of, and so, spoiler, we spoil everything. So spoiler alert, she tells the truth.
Yeah.
Do you think that was the right move?
I think it's hard because when you're a politician, I think there are times where you are just lying because that's part of the job. But I think it's when you're a real person, though, it's hard to do that. You just don't want to have to lie. Like, it's almost like it reminds me of just being in corporate America and like code switching and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, because I don't know if there was a way to tell that story without people freaking out about it. But then it's like if it comes out that you're lying later, then that's a problem. So I think she should have told the truth. Humans are always going to find a way to hate you regardless. Mm-hmm. So if it wasn't going to be that, at least they can't say you're a liar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you tried to be upfront, and she did what she could in the situation. It wasn't like this, they did it on purpose, but this made me think of, we had a conversation before about the Winter Soldier and whether or not they should have just took him out.
Bucky,
do you think that because he killed those people that Storm shouldn't have approached him with sympathy and that she should have took him out?
No, because that's a little bit different, because it was inadvertent. Like, he wasn't being controlled by a shadow organization. He just, like I said, this is pretty common. Like, we should just have something in place. I don't even know because we don't live in a world where there's really mutants and stuff, but their solution would be when people are about to come of age, they need to be observed. Like if they have the X gene or whatever. But because it is, even Professor Xavier always had a Glock on him in case someone tried to take him over so he could off himself. Damn. So that to me is like, wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because he's like my mind is a weapon, and he was like, it can be used to because basically, Professor Xavier, he could get you to do anything, he could control you with his mind. So he's like, that's a power that I have to be really responsible with. So I think maybe because Professor Xavier partly raised me, that's why the part of me is just like, no, you got to take Bucky out. Like he's too powerful to just be out here.
Yeah, that's a mess.
Because that's the other thing too. Like, you either got to take him out or lock him up, but you can't just be like, well, we'll just see what happens.
Why did they do? Is that what they were doing? It's like, well, we don't know what to do. We just gonna let him. Y'all have whole powers.
Watch it again. It's been a long time. To be fair,
we'll have to go back to that.
I haven't watched Winter Soldier in a while, and to be fair, I'm not a huge
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, Captain America fan and stuff like that. I don't follow him super hard, but I do like the questions this makes us ask, because we get into morality, we get into ethics, like what is the greatest good?
Right.
Because of course the optimal situation would be save Bucky and everybody else, but right now we have Bucky in one hand and everybody else in the other hand, and it's like you kind of got to choose everybody else. Yeah. Because the what is it? That was from Star Trek.
That's okay. We're nerding out hard enough right now. You don't have to remember all the nerd things. It's fine.
The good of the many outweighs the good of the few or the one. That's what Spock said before he sacrificed himself.
Damn.
Yeah.
All the sacrificing.
That's what heroes do.
Jeez, man. Okay, so let's get into it. So I liked how, so you kind of start off with Storm, the fact that she lived in Atlanta,
Yeah, that
got
was a
me
nice
together. I
touch.
was like, oh, straight up.
With
she
the
lives
little
in
staircase,
ATL.
she got a nice little antebellum
This is
stuff.
what I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
I really like, so they bring you, first of all, she's serving looks, right? Because this is a comic book, so you're into the art, and she's got this beautiful head wrap, this like deep V sort of royal, just whole outfit on, and she's pulling up her iconic images that we've seen her over time, from like her pixie cut to the 90s cartoon look and all this stuff. So I kind of like that touch. I thought that was really good. So I was really into the art. I really thought they did a good job.
They did. This artwork was spectacular. Actually,
Yeah,
I looked
very
up the
nice.
artist too.
Yeah.
It was Luca something. Lucas.
Rennick.
Yes. Yeah. Good job, Lucas.
Yeah, it was very beautiful. So that was
Yeah.
the thing that caught my eye as soon as we got into it. Because I'm like, first of all, she lives in Atlanta in this fabulous home with all these extra cute looks and stuff. So that was kind of dope. And
I'm glad they finally gave her hair some texture.
yeah, she has some
Yeah,
like
they
afro hair.
they finally gave her, and it
Looks
works
like
with the cloud
clouds.
motif.
I
Exactly.
love
Like she's
it.
the mistress of the elements.
Look
Like
at her
she should.
outfit. Look at her abs.
It's pretty great.
She's
Every
amazing.
year I'm always like, oh, I should do that cosplay for
The
Halloween.
Storm, yeah.
But
Man,
and I never get
You need
time.
a
But yeah, this
sickening-
was great.
that is beautiful.
So if anybody wants to make a storm costume for me, feel free.
Right. It's like in your spare time.
Yeah, in your spare time. And then I can airbrush some abs. It'll be great.
So, but I mean, I liked that, it seems like they were positioning Storm to be this sort of protector of the earth, and she was trying to get a sanctuary situation going for everybody who inhabited the earth. So her move to run for Senate or Congress Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. Why do you think that?
I mean, it's important to get involved in legislature if you want to make
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
I think that's that's square one. School boards, Congress, state legislature. Get in there.
Because the other side does. In
Yeah.
fact, right now, she'd have been doged, though, by now. They would have got rid of her.
Oh,
she's a
yeah,
DEI
she's
hire
quite
at this
the
point.
DEI hire.
It's like, absolutely not. Deport her
That's
outta
actually
here.
what she should have done for the power plant explosion. You should have just blamed it on an immigrant or a trans person or
DEI hires.
yeah. Like there's a lot of people you could scapegoat.
It's like, was there anyone
Did
with
you even
female
try?
genitalia?
Yeah.
It was probably
like, yeah,
their
it was
fault.
probably them. So yeah.
That was wild.
I wasn't sure who this character was.
It was, oh my gosh, I had it. Storm finds herself, who was it? I may have gotten rid of it. I saw but yeah, it was her and another black mutant that showed up in Oklahoma City thinking it was like a weather-induced sort of situation, and then come to find out, 'twas not.
Frenzy.
Frenzy, yeah, that
Frenzy.
was it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like Frenzy style too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very preppy and stuff. So yeah, they're just out there, trying to help everybody
She
and
got
stuff.
stabbed too.
Yeah, like some debris.
And I'm sure there's
know.
radiation poisoning out there too if we had a nuclear reactor busting through. So that might have some. I'm curious to see if that'll kind of
Long-term
be
consequences.
Yeah, because that's
I don't know if she does. I'm sure the Wakandans will help her out.
Oh, that'd be nice too.
Yeah, because that was the other thing too. Because I think they got into it a little too when she was trapped in some of the rubble. Because Storm also famously has claustrophobia, and that might have been even how I learned that word.
Oh.
Because when she was younger, I think in Egypt, because I feel like her parents were Egyptian and Kenyan. And so they were killed during an explosion, and she was trapped under the rubble for a couple hours. And I don't know if I'm making this up or if I'm remembering it. Do you ever feel that way?
All the time.
Okay.
You can just issue a correction next week if.
Well, I've never been able to actually find it because
Oh.
I felt like I had read something before about a story about how Storm wasn't born with white hair, that it turned white from stress when she was trapped
She was
under the
scared to
rubble.
death? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
I just prefer that story. So
That's a good story. That's crazy you're saying that, because we were just watching something where somebody got scared to death and they had like this their hair, like part of it turned white. And then there was a cartoon that my daughter and I were watching. I think it was Sam I Am, the Green Eggs and Ham cartoon. There was this, he was getting so stressed out that like his hair, little by little, his fur all over his body kept turning white.
he was being harassed pretty
So
hard.
it was going down. But yeah, I mean, I'm like, and they were asking me, could that really happen? I'm like, probably. So I don't know either.
But I mean, you do bring up a good point, because when I was talking about like we have to take Bucky out, like do we have to take this child out who
In this
just
moment,
developed
yeah.
these huge powers? And that's one of the questions in the X-Men universe. Like, should we put all the mutants on a registry? And then Magneto was like, nah, because then next thing you know, you getting tattoos with your number and all that other stuff, and then you're in camps. He's like, nah.
Slippery slope.
It's like, well, what do we do? Because these are very you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you just letting power, out there unchecked. And like I said, you don't have any protocols in place for when stuff like this happens.
Right. So
and like I
maybe
said, this is like somebody's child.
And you don't know when it's not like you can pinpoint the moment where they're going to have this.
Yeah.
Like whatever this.
But apparently in the X-Men universe, you can test for the X gene. So, because there was a whole plot line about how they made something to neutralize the X gene. So it was suppress your mutant powers. And so, yeah.
Can you imagine there were actual mutants?
Yeah.
Would you want that?
Would I want mutant powers?
No. Would you want to be in a world where you weren't a mutant, but they did exist?
No.
Ooh.
I already think, well, and it's just because there's already, people aren't good with power. So when you give someone a power that can't be checked, like, it'd be great if everyone had the ethos of Professor Xavier, where it's like, I'm willing to take myself out before I become a weapon of great harm. Most people are just like, sucks to suck. Right.
Like the boys. It's like,
but it's true. Like, that's why it's such a good show. Also comic book. Well, the comic book's gross.
The show is gross.
The comic book's grosser.
Oh my God.
Because it's a lot easier to draw gross stuff than do the practical effects around it that it takes to make a penis explode.
Ew. And I was gonna say, like, some of those effects were so gross that they were funny. You know what I mean? Because it was like, really?
Yeah.
He's just holding her hands and her body's gone now. Straight up. That's what we're doing.
Actually, though, you know what's so funny? I didn't watch The Boys for probably like a year because of that first scene.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that took me out. I was just like, oh, this is not the show for me.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh my goodness. But then I was able to.
Got over it.
Well, the nerds kept talking about it so much. That's the thing. Like, I was like, okay, let me see what they're talking about. And then I was able to. And then just knowing to look away sometimes. It's just so much blood.
It's out of control.
But, I mean, all that to say, because The Boys, for people who don't know, The Boys is a show on Amazon Prime that is sort of a parody of superheroes. But it is this idea of, no, seriously, if there were human beings with those kind of powers, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
This is how terrible it would be.
Yeah, like if there was a Compound V, it wouldn't be good for humanity as a whole.
Not at all.
No.
Yeah. No. I don't think so either.
But if I did, I would want to be a mutant. Like if it did exist.
Well, of course. It's like, if anybody's going to be abusing power,
it's
out of here.
It's going to be around here. Yeah. I want to at least be able to fly.
Fly up out of here or something. Yeah. But you didn't tell me whether or not you thought that she should have told the humans about the nature of the explosion. People just like lies more, but
they do.
I just don't want that on my conscience, though.
It is really hard because you have to realize people aren't necessarily going to be rational, even though you're being rational with them.
They're just not.
And that sometimes bad stuff happens. And I know people are always like, oh, everything happens for a reason. No, it doesn't. Sometimes stuff just happens. Like, it's really, really messed up. We can try to learn from it, and we can try to keep it from happening again. But ultimately, every once in a while, it just gets bad. Yeah. So I think it was ultimately long-term the right thing to do, even though I think there's a part of me that was like, you should have had people like someone to blame. Like I said, like people don't like this as like, yeah, like we did everything we could. There was just no way to avoid this. There's no way we knew this was going to happen. I would maybe, I don't know, maybe blame Thanos. Like, just
is he there?
No.
Oh. Do they know who he is?
Yeah, like just having a scapegoat politically is very
like immigrants.
Yeah, like
or black people.
Black people.
Yeah, you just gotta be able. It's like it was the that would if she's trying to be a politician. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the slippery thing about that question to me, because it's like the arena that she's getting herself into does lend itself to lies. Like, that is literally part of the job. Or at least, facades, like if we're not just flat out calling them lies, like you're saying. For one, I probably would have had the person, my, press secretary, whomever, disseminating that information.
Right.
I wouldn't
so
be
I
the
wouldn't
one
be
to say it, so I
associated
can't be
with
associated
it.
with it,
Right.
even
So
though
I can be like no comment when you come at
and
me.
it's like, exactly. So I probably would have done that,
Oh,
but
yeah,
I think
that's a good idea. Have a lackey do it.
Just
Have
again,
Cyclops go out there.
yeah, and he can burn you his laser eyes if you got something to say about it. No, but I just think that would be the hard thing about being in politics. We see that now, like the people who seem like they actually have a heart for it and care about people. That has to be so hard to be in there with basically mutants. Like they are in there, not even mutants. It's that's why I'm like, God, why would she want to be in politics? God, but I get it.
And actually, if I had Thunderbolt powers, I would love being in Congress. Like, piss me off one more time, and I'd be like, oops.
Say something, eyes start glowing. Be like, never mind, Madam Storm, ma'am.
I know AOC wishes she could. I know.
I was thinking about her specifically when I was saying that. Like, it just has to be infuriating when you're like, are you fucking kidding me?
You're gonna play in my face right now.
Y'all are acting like, like y'all acting like y'all don't know why we're here right now. It's just sad. But yeah, I just think politics is a rough job, especially when you have a heart and you want to be honest. And it's just like you say, I mean, I don't know if it ends up doing you any personal favors because...
No.
I mean, look at how far lies can take you. President Trump is like literally the epitome of why being diabolical in politics and lying gets you everywhere.
Book I really enjoyed, not a book, movie I really enjoyed called The Invention of Lying.
Oh.
It was starring Ricky Gervais. And he basically is just this guy who lives in a world where no one can lie. And he ends up realizing it's like, oh, I can lie. He just makes his lie. Yeah, he's the only person on earth who can lie. And he uses it to immediately make his life better. And so
it's like, wow, isn't that something?
But I think the ultimate lesson he ends up learning is that it's just better to tell the truth. I think that was...
Really? What was what's the name of this?
The Invention of Lying.
I'm gonna look that up.
But I mean, here's the thing. Like it solves so many problems in the shorthand where it's just like, I'm gonna lie right now. Please don't ever follow up. But
please don't ever follow up. Just take it.
But people follow up.
Yeah.
And we can't solve real life problems with fake ass answers.
No.
But in the meantime, it does feel good.
So what else? Let's see.
Well, I want to talk a little about Oh wait, is there something else in the book?
Well, I want to be able to wrap up this whole thing
before
we move on to the next. Yeah, if we want to talk about that, but just wrapping it all the way up. Because at the end of it, I didn't know what to make of the end. I wanted to ask you. So like at the end, there was this. So hold up, go back to the slide before that. What had happened? Oh yeah, so everybody's all pissed off, right? They're showing all these angry humans.
Look at them, the eyebrows.
It's like, man, we hate mutants again and all this and stuff. And so they don't really, it's an open-ended question on how that's going to impact her and her political career and that kind of thing. But then the next slide is, or the next page shows her like,
but beyond our planet, our solar system, our universe even, another watches with an unquestionable intent of the cosmos. I am eternity, the beginning with no end, and I have found you worthy, Ororo Munroe, to me, my eternal storm. So I think this is the Watcher.
What is that?
It's a character.
I thought, okay, because I was like, is this an Eternal?
He who watches. Probably.
An Eternal?
Probably.
Okay. Because I was like, oh, is that who busted up through the... Not him exactly.
Yeah,
one of his
but like,
kind,
there's
maybe?
all kind of celestial beings in the Marvel universe. So, and I like this new outfit.
That is cute. The white and gold is everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she looks great. It makes me want to do push-ups. I'm not going to though.
No. But yeah, so I was just like, I wonder what that means exactly.
And let's debate you into the next one.
Oh. Okay.
It's like,
I'm gonna move on probably. Yeah. Though. You can tell me though.
But well, I haven't read the next one yet, but I'm going to.
Okay.
Once again, I want to get a physical copy of the comic book. So I haven't gone to all of my comic book stores yet, but ultimately, like just because I had to get this one quick, but ultimately if I end up just having to order it, because I like having the physical comic books. Even those crappy Jerome Eric Dickey ones, I still bought.
Still have them.
Because it was, there's some good art in it.
But it was Wakanda. I hate that that was the one that sucked. I mean, I didn't read them, but
it was
in your
really
mind
disappointing.
Anyway. What about the art though?
It was decent. It wasn't as good as this.
Okay.
But it was decent.
Dang.
It just really let me down because I love Storm so much.
Now, Storm had quite the backstory though, because she started off kind of being like a
goddess.
she started off as a goddess.
That's what she was doing when Professor Xavier found her.
Well, so, and I mean, not like I'm an expert on this, but I thought I read something that said she was thieving or something.
Yeah,
like she was on the.
That was after her parents died.
Okay,
and so she was orphaned.
They found her under the rubble, right? So she was getting how she lived.
Yeah, and so she was just on the streets of Cairo getting how she lives it, and then she runs into the Shadow King.
Oh.
And then he had a criminal syndicate that she worked for a while, but then she was able to get away from that. And then she was just worshipped as a goddess for a while.
Oh, why? Because she's just beautiful and stuff?
And she could make it rain.
Oh, that is true. It's like, oh my God, it's her.
She's a water witch.
Okay.
So, and then, that's what she was doing when Charles picked her up. And actually, because in her first appearance in the comics, she was naked.
Straight up.
Yeah.
No wonder you like it.
Yeah. She was like, I'm just out here tending to nature with my titties out.
Right.
Just ha ha ha. And he was just like, oh, you want to come to America? It's stressful.
She's like, sure.
But she has the heart of a servant, which we should all have.
Yeah. And the boobs and abs of a bad bitch. So that's what we should all have too, but we don't.
No.
But yeah, I mean, so to me, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was very quick. I like the direction of the story in terms of like, her sort of being this protector and trying to, I mean, honestly, I just feel like, girl, with the humans, you already know, I feel like Q should just blow us up when it comes down to it,
Yeah.
It's like, are we even worth it? Like, we're not even worth the dust of your mutant powers, girl. Just...
It's like, see what the Kree are doing. Maybe they're worthwhile.
Man, I don't know. Not like this over here is pretty ghetto, but I liked it. I liked the art of it. And yeah, it was cool. Yeah. Not too bad.
Black lady superhero.
Yeah. So should we rate it first, or do you want to go into something else first? I feel like I don't know when we're doing two.
I guess we can rate it.
Okay.
We can rate it.
So if I had to rate this comic book, I mean, based on the art alone, I'm going to give it a solid 4.
4 out of 5?
Yeah, 4 out of 5 lightning bolts. Yeah.
All right.
What about you?
I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 X-Men emblems. Those little X's. I really even her original costume, she had one on each side. And I think that was like, even because I learned a lot of science from these comic books too, sadly. But because I thought it stood for double X chromosomes. She's a girl. And a lot of that kind of stuff, like evolution and chromosomes and all that stuff, comic books and Star Trek.
Wow.
Because they wouldn't teach it at my school.
Dun-dun-dun.
Dun-dun-dun. And now they're really not going to have to.
Oh my God, I hate it here. Again,
Because you
ghetto.
know what? And I think I'm just going to say it. This is just Kat's kind of personal hypothesis as to why there's a lot of fundamental religions are super hostile to teaching like evolution theory, is because ultimately it disproves race theory. Like race theory doesn't hold up. And just so people know, like in science parlance, a theory is just a collection of laws. It doesn't mean when we're just talking like, oh, I have a theory about this. Like gravity is a theory. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean it's not real just because we're using theory. It's just they're leaving room to learn more.
Exactly.
So that's why it's just called theory. But race theory falls apart. Race theory doesn't hold up because it's like, oh, well, except with this and this and this. There's no place for race theory in the real pantheon of, not pantheon, but in like actual science, there's no place for race.
Right.
And so I think that bumps up a lot against, for people who like white supremacy and racism.
Right.
Like it, it's like, it kind of
It's messing me up.
Yeah. So if you really learned about all of these things about, genetic expression, recessive and dominant genes, all that kind of stuff, it doesn't.
Maybe that's why Trump said, I love the undereducated.
Did he say that?
He
for
did.
real?
He really did.
Oh boy.
You get his actual voice, said it out loud into a microphone. And it's like, of course you do. But of course, that is why powerful dictators and people who want to manipulate the truth, you use that to
your advantage.
control.
Because you
Yeah,
can just,
absolutely.
inundate them with so much misinformation.
Exactly.
All of that
It's very
stuff.
sad.
But yes, that's why that's another reason why I usually feel such a big passion for comic books, nerd stuff, because here's why people don't like nerds. Nerds are pedantic and they like accuracy. That's not hot.
No.
Like, people like being agreed with. That's hot. That's why when guys are hitting on you, they just agree with whatever you're saying.
like,
not a
yes.
lot. Like, they don't go in and it's just like, let me push back on that a little bit. No,
Yeah.
that's not seductive. But nerds don't care about that. So they're like, no, but it's just wrong though. And it's like, you're not even hot. I don't have to listen to you.
See, it came back full circle about being hot.
Try to be hot. We were
yeah.
talking about it on Patreon.
Yeah. we
Okay,
were.
that was Patreon,
were,
guys.
sorry,
we
yeah.
were talking about how important it is to be hot if you want people to listen to you.
Doesn't hurt, that's for sure. But yeah, that was Trump
He
in
was in
Nevada.
Nevada.
I love the poorly educated. Yeah. Associated Press, NBC News, CNN.
Here's the beauty of our crazy now times. Because we are moving into a place where they're trying to strip down curriculums, but it's so much easier to get a hold of education now than it used to be.
Yeah,
you
it
think
is.
about how, what you would have to do to learn stuff, and now you can learn so many things just like boop, 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 boop. So keep learning, people.
Yeah. Make sure you're getting that good info though.
Yeah,
'cause
and don't
God,
be afraid of being wrong. That's part of learning.
It is.
You're just some person.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know what? Do you want to take a break and then come back and talk a little bit about the Captain America movie?
Oh, yes.
Wow. All right, then. We'll be right back. Okay, so you guys, welcome back from the break. Okay. Okay, friends, so you wanted to talk a little bit about the Captain America book because I told you I was going to go see it last weekend. Sorry. Movie.
There are lots of Captain America books.
It was not no
but-
book. I don't even know what made me say book because I wouldn't have
'Cause
read it.
we're at a book club.
Guess so.
Yeah, you're in
But
book club mode.
there was a black.
bookish
Black. You heard it here first, guys. I don't think anybody would describe me like that.
There's probably
maybe,
a couple.
maybe.
Yeah, now, like it's your brand.
That is true.
Welcome
True
to
that.
your brand.
Damn it. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it was blacked in America because Anthony Mackie was playing a Captain America, and yeah, so we went to see it. My son goes hard for all the Marvel Universe movies, so we went to see it as a family, and I mean, I liked it. I thought it was okay. I mean, I wasn't expecting anything. I didn't have any real prior sort of
You weren't thinking
opinions
about Bucky?
about. Nah, I forgot about him until he popped up in the movie, and my son was like, Bucky, and I was like, oh yeah, he was in the other movie. That's up. That's what's up. But I do remember feeling like, I think from what I can remember from the one of the Captain America movies that I saw, it felt very. I mean, because I just feel like. So America is this red, white, and blue blonde guy standing with the like he
Homelander.
seems very like it's so cliche, and it always felt like lesson. You know what I mean? And he's like, oh, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but it was just like a little bit corny. Like his character was a little bit corny. So I liked having a different iteration of him because I don't remember hearing or having those moments in the movie except for when. Spoiler, I guess. But when he was talking to Bucky and he was there, I guess there was some serum that what was keeping Captain America from like aging or whatever?
The super soldier serum.
Yeah. So I guess he took that or whatever, and he was like old, but he didn't look old, and he ended up passing his what is that thing? Shield.
The
His
adamantium shield.
on to the new Captain America, who was Falcon before, and he passed it to him, I guess, because he felt like he embodied, bravery and all of those sort of aspects of
Truth, justice, and the American way.
Yeah, absolutely. And
That's from Superman. That's DC. We don't do that around here.
oh, and I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
No,
Why
I'm just
would you
kidding.
set me
No,
up like
I
that?
like
That's messed
no,
up.
I like DC. That's Wonder Woman.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I don't know. It was fine to me. I was like, this is fine. I mean, I wasn't like blown away to space or anything. I mean, but it was good. I mean, I was entertained or whatever. It was about what I expected, I guess. There were some
Okay.
fight scenes.
You give it like a B.
Yeah. B minus.
B minus.
Yeah.
Okay, well, for me, I think I went into it Well, for one, I already, like, I'm like you. I wasn't really like a big Captain America fan anyway. Like I said, the original, even the Winter Soldier, I had problems with because it was like, man, Captain America actually kind of always got on my nerves. Even in Civil War, when him and Iron Man were going at it, because I wasn't a huge Iron Man fan either. Like, but
Comics, you mean?
Yes, comics and movies.
Oh, really?
Like, I didn't really get into the movies all that much.
I liked the Iron Man movies.
Good.
Because, what's his name?
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I liked, he was kind of like a...
I'm like, meh. But just in general, I tend to agree with Tony Stark on most stuff.
Because he's a nerd.
He's a nerd. He's pretty much Batman. He's the Marvel Batman and stuff like that. But usually he and Captain America are at odds, and I tend to side with Iron Man, where it's like, nah, we're going to be the Avengers, but we do still need oversight. This is a lot of power concentrated in here. Because that's what Civil War ended up being about, where Cap was like, we don't need any oversight. We can manage ourselves. And Iron Man's like, I don't know. We might not always be in charge. Like, you're a decent person, but as this goes on. Right. And then also when Winter Soldier, when Bucky was going off and Iron Man was like, we need to neutralize this dude no matter what. And Captain America was like, no, that's my friend, which is understandable, but also your friend is killing a lot of people.
Like, you got to reel this in, Cap.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. To me, you just have to, especially when you're dealing with military. Like, that's the thing. Like, you have to make real decisions. I learned this from Star Trek. That's why you had the Kobayashi Maru test that you'd have to pass if you wanted to be in Starfleet Command. You know what I'm talking about. No,
you said this before, because now you're saying that. I'm like, Kobayashi Maru. What is that? Is that what you said?
Maru.
Oh.
Kobayashi Maru. It was a Starfleet test that Kirk cheated on famously. Because it's an unwinnable, situation.
That's not the 4 lights or 3 lights.
No.
That's something totally different.
Totally different. Okay. Still amazing, though.
Okay.
I'm glad that you remembered that, though. Okay. It's fantastic.
I remember you love it. I know you love it so hard.
I love it so much.
Did it come down to they wanted to lie? Isn't that kind of what we were talking about before? This is about politics. Like, sometimes you just got to tell people what they want to hear, man.
Well, no, but
that wasn't the lesson. Okay. I'm sorry, we're all over the place. My bad.
The lesson from There Are 4 Lights, I was Chain of Command Part 2 of Star Trek Next Generation, is that you can torture people so much that you can get them to believe whatever.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because he was like, I don't want to lie, so my brain is actually making me see 5. Cardassian that was torturing him wanted him to say there were 5 lights when there were actually 4.
Okay.
So Picard just kept yelling at him, there are 4 lights.
Oh.
But then at the end, he had been tortured for so long that his brain actually made him see 5 lights so that he can say there are 5 lights.
Oh, your brain. See, now that's kind of your brain. Is it?
Yes, because your brain is just trying to keep you going.
Yeah.
But it's not good to believe bullshit because you're being tortured so much.
Well, of course. The torture part is the bad part.
Okay, so back to Kobayashi Maru.
Okay.
It's when you get in these unwinnable situations and it's trying to condition you that no matter what, no matter if you do everything perfect, sometimes it just all falls apart.
Bad shit happens.
Yeah, you have to make these really bad calls that sometimes people end up, because that happened to, because that's what happened to Captain Picard. He ended up making a command decision that ended up killing Beverly's husband.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
no.
But
I'm sorry.
Well, that's what happened.
Who the fuck is Beverly?
Beverly is Wesley's mama.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. I now know I remember Wesley.
So, yeah, he ended up making the command decision that killed Wesley's daddy and Beverly's husband.
Damn.
And they still were like, but she was like, nah, I get it. This is the job. This is the job that we've chosen. This is the life that we've chosen.
Ooh.
So you can't just, be because
he had biased toward,
because Picard, my loyalty isn't to this one person, it's to the whole crew, it's to the Federation. So in military stuff, no matter how much you love this one person, because that was his friend too, Captain Picard's friend, but he was like, I can't just save your life and have me and everybody die. It's
me
like,
first, and then obviously. That's what I heard.
But
I'm
once
kidding.
again, that's probably why we didn't join the military.
I'm
not making
can't do
those,
it, man.
I'm not going to be able to make those kind of calls.
I didn't even want to be in a sorority based on that. Like,
Yeah,
you know, I'm
it's
sorry, I
like-
can't guarantee my loyalty or none of that shit. I don't know, man, because I don't know what y'all were
Sisterhood
gonna be
before
on.
all.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I don't know all y'all like that. You might be cool, but this bitch, nah, I ain't keeping. I'm not keeping her secrets too. Fuck out of here.
So, yeah, to me that was, and also this is the other thing that Captain America kind of gives me is propaganda.
Ooh.
You know, it's this militaristic sort of industrial complex that, you know, like, oh, we just have to, you know, everyone's so honorable and all this stuff. When in real life,
No.
no one's going to like this. Just the amount of grape that happens in the armed forces that gets hushed
I know,
up.
that is sad.
Yeah, it's like a lot of stuff where a lot of times people will choose this route too because they want a lot of unearned privilege too. So, not saying that it's everybody, but
Obviously.
it's, to me, it's something we need to have, like larger, expansive conversations sort of around our use of military might. Because it was just this idea of, like, you know, you got the president, you know, got a grizzled Harrison Ford popping pills the whole time.
A grizzled. He was grizzled. He definitely was grizzled. That's
And
good.
I didn't hear, and I gotta be honest, I
Okay.
think I might have fallen asleep because I did go see it at
Oh,
night.
that's-
So did they explain why he was the Red Hulk?
Yeah, they had been poisoned. So the big head dude, the big head radiation dude with the green eye, he was, there was some kind of medicine he gave to Harrison Ford's character to keep him alive, and he had to take it. That's what those pills were.
Oh.
But he was dosing him small
With gamma
dose with the
radiation.
gamma radiation. And you know, anytime he would get upset, you know what I mean? Like, it was all just building up, basically.
And here's the other thing. That's another reason why I wanted to see it too. I love the Hulk.
The Hulk
was, even before I like love Storm, I love the Hulk. Because that
Hulk
was
is
another
iconic.
really great Saturday morning cartoon. Spider-Man, Hulk, all them. And it's just so funny, as a young child, there was a part of me that was just really in touch with my rage. And I was just like, yes, the Hulk, that's what my rage monster looks like. And I really loved that. So
What'd you think about the Red Hulk, though, in the movie?
actually, those are my favorite scenes.
Yeah, it was like, I wanted to see him more.
Yeah.
That would have been nice. That would be my critique. Like, I don't know that they
He's
should have waited till the
expensive.
end. I'm sure he is. Bless it. And they were tearing up the Washington Monument.
They were, and all
of
them
DC
cherry
and stuff like that.
blossoms.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
And I did like the vibranium Falcon wings.
That was dope.
Like when he was fighting with those, that was kind
the
of
fight
cool.
scenes were pretty. I liked even who was Ramirez, the character.
Oh,
the
yeah,
new
the new Falcon.
I
Yeah.
liked him even too.
Yes,
So,
the young Latin youth.
yeah, there was the acting. I felt like was solid though. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like Anthony Mackie's.
He reminded me
I
of Will
liked it.
Smith.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it was actually very reminiscent of kind of like his performance in Independence Day and like Bad Boys. Where it was, to me, it was just completely inoffensive. It wasn't bad. I was just disappointed, probably because I was, since it was like a black lead, I wanted to be like Black Panther, and it wasn't.
Right.
So I actually just ended up rewatching Black Panther yesterday
That is
to
so
cleanse my
crazy.
palate. It's so good.
Black Panther was a whole situation. I loved that too. I think for Marvel fans though, like, I'm sure that there's like plot holes and like, but I don't know why they didn't spend more time. You know, I don't have any of that. I mean, just as somebody who wasn't invested in any of it really, I'm like, yeah, I was entertained enough. I thought it was pretty
Oh,
good.
and I liked how it tied into Eternals. Because I liked
the
Eternals.
the
Getting the
celestial.
adamantium and all of that stuff. Because I really like the Eternals movies. I think those weren't popular, or that wasn't popular because they're not going to do another one.
Oh, they're not?
That's what I heard.
Okay.
Who knows? Because now with the whole
With Selma Hayek and
and them.
yeah, that was I didn't
Yeah,
mind that one.
I really
I
enjoyed
loved
that
the
one. Because they had old
the
boy
deaf character
from,
too, the black girl. She was cool. I liked
Yes.
her.
And what's his name from Atlanta?
Paperboy.
Paperboy. That's his name.
I know who we talking about.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. But that was a controversial one too, where people were just kind of like, But I enjoy. But once again, when it comes to Marvel, I like it when they go into space. I like it
okay.
when we do that kind of stuff. But not everybody does. I
I
get
thought
it.
that one was good too. I didn't mind it.
Yeah, but I'm glad it's making money.
Okay.
You know, Captain America, Brave New World.
Well, some people just didn't like this Captain America because he was black, though, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's always
That's
that. That's kind
of why I wanted to give money to it, too, where it's just kind of like, man, don't be hating on Cap because...
Yeah. I like the symbolism that it's, you know, like in my mind, it's like, yeah, how many black folks fight for America, have constantly fought for America and never get their due? So, like, the fact that Cap saw that in him or whatever, or just
or
it
like
just
that
represents...
old black man they ended up locking up. Oh, because that was the other thing,
That was
too. This
messed
is
up.
a common plot point, I guess, in these movies where they hijack somebody's
control.
mind and make them do stuff without their awareness of it. But you see, they locked that black man up quick. They didn't give him that
And they
latitude
didn't let
Bucky
him
got
up right away. Nah, exactly. No, right. They found him instantly. They was like, there
Had
you
him
go.
in jail that day.
Yeah, there you go, right there. And he had already been locked up for a long time. Wasn't it for something he didn't do? Or did he do something?
He had been locked up before.
I feel like now this
He
could be
was
wrong.
unjust. I feel it was unjust,
It was like
whatever
he
it
was locked
was.
up for a long time, and it
20
wasn't even
years.
something. And
Because he was
finally
like,
got
I
out.
ain't going back.
Yeah.
I was like,
and his hair
ooh.
was all disheveled. Kat didn't like how he looked.
I
in
didn't
that
think they
scene.
needed to do that to him. It was just that one scene too.
Yeah.
Like he was in jail the rest of the time and they managed to comb his hair. And then there was just, I get it. You want to show him stressed out.
He was
but
stressed. He was.
I don't.
She wasn't here for it.
They should have shot two scenes, one where his hair was done and where it wasn't, and just used the one where it was.
Or just shot the one where his hair didn't look messed up and save the money of shooting the one
Sometimes you
without.
have to, as a director, you have
Go
to
through the
accommodate
motions.
different visions. So that's just part of the leadership.
Well, if they're
It's
all
just
your
like,
visions, you know you don't. That's why you're the
Man, that was the
director.
editor's fault.
Oh my God. Well, I'm sure that was on purpose.
I don't know. A lot of those conversations to me, like when he was talking to him and stuff, they kind of glazed. I feel like they were trying to address certain issues, sort of like how black people were treated in the military. Without
really addressing it.
Yeah.
It's how
'Cause it's
America
like-
wants it to be addressed, though.
Yeah,
We want
where
to
it's
glaze
just
over
like,
it.
we did you bad, but come on back.
Yeah.
You know, because I just always sometimes wonder too if we used our military budget for like
Education.
a Peace Corps. Yeah, like if we just skip the step where you have to kill people and you just send them to school.
Unless you have to.
Yeah, like you don't really.
Like Bucky. You know what I'm saying? Wait till it's a Bucky
Stop
situation.
him.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wait till it's
he
that.
needs to be stopped. Like, yeah, but once again, like I said, I've never been in those organizations. The only thing I'm pretty aware of is that, like every organization on the planet, they seem to have a problem with sexual assault. So maybe do something about that.
Every organization on the planet.
It
It's
feels
so
like it.
true.
feels. I mean, it just
What in the hell? It's so weird. It's like, so we just...
It's common. I wish it was weird. It's
weird to me. I don't know why it's so common.
You don't like?
I mean, I know why,
Maybe
but
you
I
should
don't.
try sexually assaulting someone. Maybe it's super fun.
And that's the show, folks. When the computer closes,
You
that
never
means
know. Like I've never tried
never
it.
know till
Maybe
you try
that's maybe it's one of those things like crack. And you try it. It's like I should have been doing this
Heroin.
the whole time.
And now you're on the street like...
So if you take
hate
anything
it
from
here.
this episode of Fake Ass Book Club,
We're all over the place, guys. And that's why you're
Yes.
here. Don't
Yes.
lie to yourselves. That's exactly what this show is. I don't know. Are we rating that? I don't think so. I don't
no
wanna rate
Captain
it.
America,
No.
because I'm not going to give it a good rating. And
Let's
that's not-
just, yeah.
But you should. If you like Captain America, you'll like this movie.
Yeah.
I think I just don't like the Captain America franchise on the whole, for real.
In general,
I
yeah.
can watch it when it's like the Avengers. I can deal with it, but I don't want a whole movie with these dudes.
That's fair. I like the Avengers too.
Yeah.
Avengers are
And
good.
the one black chick they had in there, they had her dry as hell. She was the nurse from the
I don't even
Mindy
remember
Project.
her.
The black chick with the natural that was talking to the president all the time. That's what I'm saying. She was dry as toast. They didn't let her be
Oh,
like
yeah.
like you're just like, once again, I felt like it was all men writing this script and she was just like, oh yes, I am here to be
Whatever you need.
a gentle presence for you and completely non-threatening. It was, I don't know.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
I feel like she was wasted because she's a really good actress and she's really fun.
And now I remember her now that you're
Yeah.
saying that. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, I don't know. I guess we can spin the wheel. Spin it. It's a fake ass episode. Who are we kidding? Who are we kidding? All
We're
the reading,
back to our roots.
all the reading from these
Black
30
History Month's
slides.
over. Not when you listen to this, but by the time we
Yeah.
record again, it will be.
Well, I guess for me, I want to leave it open-ended because a lot can happen between now and next week. So
you're right.
You never know what we're going to come up with, you guys. I might decide that, hey, here's a book. Or, I don't know, I just want to keep it fun and funky, guys. So we'll see. We'll get into it next week. Just know it's going to be entertaining as always. Hopefully you guys pull back up here next week for all the shenanigans.
Because we like you.
Yeah.
Don't you like us? If you do, use your little thumbs to prove it.
I know. Like us, engage, guys. Leave us a review on YouTube. I really like
and be
the thumbnails.
specific. Like, really tell us why you like us. Like, really get in there.
I will take a thumbs up, friends. But also, if you have more to share, definitely share. So I don't know.
But thank you for enjoying the thumbnails. Yeah. Click up on it. Click up on it. I'm gonna get that playlist together. It's gonna be so ratchet,
you guys. Matter of fact, speaking of the YouTube, I just added the Spotify playlist, my faves, on the YouTube. I'm gonna upload it to Instagram and to Facebook too, so you guys can check that out. But definitely check out some of my faves, you guys. Maybe you've heard of some of them, maybe you haven't. Share some of your faves with me and with Kat. We want to know what you like to listen to as well. It's honestly, the music gets me through sometimes. Between that and it's the arts. We talked about that too. Just, her dedication said it all. Like, we need art so much right now. I actually did watch the Kendrick Lamar thing again this morning.
Yeah.
Just because it's so good, man.
I'm probably gonna download it.
I love it. Yeah. It was like 52 million views. I was like, wow. He's running it up.
Have you listened to the new Drake album?
I haven't. I have not. Have you?
I haven't. I heard them talking about it on The Read.
Yeah, I haven't heard it. I'm not usually the one that's going out to listen to like the new Drake. Yeah. I mean, if anything, I'm usually, I don't know. I'm listening to music I can download it.
I'm excited about it. Your body belongs to you.
It's so true. Have some fun with it. Listen to some music. Listen to this podcast. Share it. All right. Do your stuff. I like that. All right. Peace, guys.
Before we go, we must give thanks to Urban Nerd for providing our music, and legal services were handled by Trezanae M. Atkins. If you like what you heard, please feel free to join us every Wednesday for another fake-ass book club. Cheers.
Thank you guys for listening. You can check us out at thefabpodcast.com. Please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you're listening right now. We want to hear from you. Come put it in our life. Thanks again, and until next time, peace, love, and the Fake Ass Book Club. We out.